The first time many kids in the 2000s saw Pikmin was within the settings of Luigi's Mansion. As a launch title, okay, so only really in America and Europe, and it wasn't really considered a launch title, but come on, it came out like a month after the GameCube was released in Japan, just let me have that. It was weird. So was Luigi's Mansion. Both of these games, the only Nintendo games on the GameCube at this time, were really strange, and maybe that's why the GameCube didn't sell. But one of those games is my favorite game of all time, and the other's pretty close. And while my heart has always belonged to Luigi's Mansion, it has grown to have plenty of room for the Pikmin series. And with the release of Pikmin 4, there are so many people being introduced to the franchise for the first time. It's a great time to revisit Pikmin 1 and 2, especially because of the new ports on the Switch. For a very long time, I'm pretty sure me, just like everybody else, didn't really have any idea what kind of game Pikmin even was. I knew that it was Miyamoto's darling child that he cared about oh so much, but I also knew that there hadn't been a game in 10 years. Now, of course, don't get me wrong. I thought those silly guys were very cute. What I've found out, though, is Pikmin is a really weird game. From the genre of game it is, that being RTS, though it's not like any other RTS you'll see, and just mechanically. It's so strange. You know, the reason that most RTSs are stuck on PC is because they have a million different menus and a million different controls and buttons to press and stuff that you just can't map to a controller. It's not like a Nintendo game. But Pikmin is a Nintendo game in a very pure form. And Pikmin is a really weird game. Pikmin 1 sold okay. Pikmin 2 also sold okay. But what sets it apart from any other RTS on the market is that you are controlling your little guy Olimar right there on the field with them. In pretty much every other war, battle zone, whatever RTS, you are just an outside commander you're watching down. But in Pikmin, you're on the field. And instead of having tanks or soldiers or war fronts to protect, you have little creatures, little alien creatures, and you're fighting off their natural predators in an attempt to get yourself back home. Pikmin 1's story, like everything else about it, doesn't really fit in with any other story a Nintendo game has. You're started off in a spaceship until a meteor hits it and you go careening to the ground. When you land, you find your spaceship in pieces and you have no way of finding them. But you also find a Pikmin and its onion. Being your last hope, you put it to work, knowing that it's your only way to get back to your wife, your son, your daughter, and your little doggy that are waiting for you after you finally got to go on the vacation that you've been waiting for, after you've been working for non-stop. But you know no one will notice you're missing for a bit because you were supposed to be on vacation. And work will start complaining eventually, but not yet. And the best part, you only have 30 days of oxygen supply left, which matches the 30 missing parts of your spaceship that you need to find if you want to live. So the story sets you up simply, urgently, desperately, and hopefully. Your player character Olimar is clearly a very smart guy. He's very interested in all of the plant life and animal life, and plant and animal life, that being the Pikmin, around him. And he's always focused on the next objective. But he's also very down-to-earth and real, and it's really easy to sympathize with him in his nightly logs when he talks about missing his family in between logs of talking about how he almost got mauled to death by a bulborb. All of these aspects of story combine together to make a really well put together and concise feeling game that also has a huge load of strategy and mechanics to learn. And given the 30-day time limit, it lends itself really, really easily to being played over and over again to try and get all of the parts in less and less days, and get more and more Pikmin and kill less and less of them. And overall, it just really encourages getting better at the game. Most people who I hear talking about having played Pikmin in their childhood talk about how attached they were and still are to losing Pikmin, and how while you may become more desensitized to it than you were before, it's still gonna hurt a little bit. And you're still going to make those irrational decisions where you know that you can easily get back all of those Pikmin that you just lost within a couple minutes, but maybe if you restarted the day now, you could do it without any Pikmin dying. All of this put together, compared against the genre standards and all the differences there, to the controller that it's on, the GameCube controller, while being more complicated than many Nintendo controllers, still being way less complicated than a keyboard and mouse, plus the gripping and real story and characters. Plus, look at the Pikmin! Have you seen the Pikmin? Have you seen the Pikmin? Have you seen them? There's the red ones, the yellow ones, the blue ones, the white ones, the purple ones, the rock ones, the flying ones, the ice ones, the glowing ones. But in Pikmin 1, you just have the first couple. You have red, yellow, and blue. You can see them clearly. They all do completely different things. And it's just one more thing about this game that adds to the strategy while still being simple and easy to understand. The red ones do fire, the blue ones do water, the yellow ones go up high. Their ears make them aerodynamic. All this to say, I love Pikmin, and I could talk about it for a very long time. But Pikmin 1 especially just holds an incredibly special place in video game history, in Nintendo history, in just, it's a really interesting game, and there's really not much like it. So even if my favorite game is still Luigi's Mansion, it's okay. 2 and Pikmin 3, Pikmin to play control for the Wii. Pikmin 4 and 5, Pikmin 6, Pikmin 7, Pikmin 18, Billion and 11, Pikmin 3 Deluxe and Hey Pikmin, Pikmin Temptation and Pikmin Sin. Pikmin on your iPad, it's called Pikmin Bloom. Brand new crossover with Pikmin and Doom. Lost browser game, Pikmin Space Force. Pikmin Nintendo Land. Pikmin coming to Super Smash Brothers Brawl. New sport I made where you throw a Pikmin ball. Pikmin on the GameCube where you can play it. Love it or hate it, you will find it. Pikmin on the GameCube where you can play it. Love it or hate it, you will find it on the GameCube. Pikmin on the GameCube. Pikmin on the freaking GameCube.